mind is set to purpose. And there's something missing. Freedom. See, treasure is put to use, absent constraint, to live knowing each choice made is your own.
The MV was very different in that respect because it really was a true full production studio. And I can't think of one other instrument made that you could do everything
from beginning to end, your master
CD burned, red book, qualified edition that you could deliver for distribution. You have piano rolls, you have everything else that you could possibly want in this thing. And one of the most attractive things about this, and I did a video about this, was quantizing.
Another thing too that, when we're talking about the quantize and everything, that really separated this from anything else out there was you could have it in record mode or just plain, and you could adjust the percentage of the quantize and everything all in real time. The Cosm effects that are built in on the MV, there's actually a lot of boss effects that are built into the Cosm effect.
which is stuff that he found on the VS recorder. So
I plugged his guitar in, I showed him how you could do amp simulations and all these really cool things that you can find on like the Boss ME50. It's got the RE201 tape effect built in. It's got the RE201 tape effect built in. It's got the RE201 tape effect built in. It's got
What's cracking? This is Nick Danger, and you're now tuned into the Art of MV. Welcome back to the channel, and thanks for watching the video. Hit that thumbs up on the way in, subscribe to the channel if you are not, and leave it all in the comment section for me. And we're going to jump right into the MV shit, man. Shout out to MV Mob, man. Let's give ourselves a hand, man. Yo, this is 25 years of MVing. So I don't know when you guys got your MV. I got mine not right when it came out. I got mine right when the 8800 was coming out. So yeah, 25 years of this thing, man. And other machines still are trying to do what this thing already did. Now, I'm going to talk optimization and hybridization. You know what I mean? A hybrid workflow from the outset. You have, it's just much better to have a hybrid outlook when you have an MV, and that includes the Verse Lab, and we'll get to that in a minute. So what I mean by optimization, what do you plan on doing with your MV? And this is talking about the 8000. So the fact that the MV is a capable synthesizer, has its own internal patches, electric pianos, horns, strings, and all that kind of stuff, you want the best keyboard solution. So none of the MVs from the MV30 all the way down to the Verse Lab come with a keyboard. That is an MV trait. There's no keyboard. However, they are hella melodic pieces of gear. They are designed to be musical, very musical. So they're designed to hook up with a keyboard and optimize it. So you want to get the best one. So I got an 88 key semi-weighted trigger keyboard that M Audio makes. One I used to control my software with. And it works just fine. Now, it also helps for you to optimize it as well, is to get a foot switch. Get a foot switch so you can utilize the sustain on your keyboards, and also so you can stop your stuff without wearing out your buttons, right? So we're working on this, and I'm gonna show you another thing that I got going on when it comes to this machine. So let's get this. So as you can see, I got two mics here because I'm also controlling a lot of when I use the MV Verse Lab the same way. So that's why this is going to be a good conversation on optimizing your MV, because there are certain things you can do to optimize. That this subject comes in as a result of just kind of being on the forums and seeing what people understand the MV to be and what they want it to be. You know what I mean? Some people want it to be something it's not. You know, they want the MV8000 to be an MPC, and it's not. They want the Verse Lab to be an SP DSP or sampler driven environment, and it's not. You know what I mean? So, but there's a way you can optimize that to make sure you get what you need out of whatever direction that you're going. And that could be any direction with the MVs. The MVs are not specifically made for hip hop. Yes, this one was optimized visually and outfitted to bring in those guys because it looks like an MPC, but it's so much more. So another way you want to optimize it is when you only have 2 MIDI connections, one with the Verse Lab, but 2 with the 8000, you got to make the best choice. To me, if you're going to make any choice, get you a Rombler full of sounds. I don't care which one it is of your choice. Mine was the Integra 7. Now this goes to the MV, or the way they outfitted the 8000, 8800 as forward looking, right? So when you buy an Integra 7, as soon as you pop up the search on the Roland page on Google, you'll be led to a support page where these are already mapped to work together. So by adding the Integra 7, you add all of these expansion packs that came with the Phantom and the 5080, as well as the ones that come for the Integra 7. So you have those as expansion packs, and then the ones and then you have the basic insides of it, which is the Supernatural set with the acoustic, Supernatural synth, which also has you can customize the Supernatural synth. If I go to a Supernatural synth sound, you'll see all this opens up. I can start making subtle adjustments. Now, just like the Zencore engine inside the Verse Lab, the Integra is a tone generator. It's not a synthesizer. So it's not designed for you to have infinite tweaks. You know what I mean? It's designed for you to pick one of Roland's flagship patches, put just enough effect on it to customize it, make it your own, and make a song with. This is what this is. This is not a synth. The Integra has no synth capabilities. It has tone generating capabilities with awesome M effects to mangle and bend them to your will, and a little bit of effects to customize them. So what I like about it is that you got the mix, and it has 2 external inputs as well. So 1/4-inch stereo on the back and 1/4-inch stereo on the front. So my SP and another piece of gear can be routed directly into the MV via the inputs here. Now when I do that, coming into the production studio, that is the 8000, you're using on the inputs, you can move it around, so you can move the effect on the input. So let me add some strings here. And let me show you something. Now I've added the chorus 320 to those strings coming in, so they'll have that little sheen on it when I record it into an audio track. Now why would I want to do that? Well, because I want them, as I always do, I want a pristine copy and print of that particular take. That way when I move on to another sound, or I assign those MIDI notes to other instruments to layer it, at least those are coming in with that effect on them already recorded, and you can go from there. Now that's controlling everything from here, the dual input, and when you look at the space here, there's nothing I love. You can be able to move the sound around. So what you guys don't see in my system is I have 2 small size Mackie speakers. They're okay, I like them. More on that in a minute. They're small, and then there's a subwoofer on the ground. So being able to move my sound around like this, I'm sitting direct center of the field, so I can hear it properly. I can move it around the sound field. Like here's the external track. I'll usually just keep that dead center so that I can hear the stereo imaging of whatever the Phantom has already going, or what the Integra or the SP has going. I can hear it the way I want to hear it, directly front and center. Then I'll move it around as needed. And you also have the reverb sends, and this is the stuff that people don't understand about the Integra 7, that you have to alter if you want the 5080 version to sound different, because the 5080 does sound great in here, but it's coming out of the Integra master output, which is very clean and has that classic Integra 7 reverb on here that you can find also on the VerseLab. So that's one thing right there, right? And this is the essential hybrid flow. Now, only thing that you need to connect to the interface after this is the MV8000. And I would do that via the digital coaxial input because you don't lose anything. Now, you may want to use the premium outputs if you want to have the MV a certain sound and color that the MV is known for delivering. I don't know if it's any different than when you get the 16 or 24-bit output directly coaxial into any interface now. So that is on you, but this would now be the gate to all your sounds going inside your interface is coming through the MV with the effects on the input, right? Then once it's recorded in the MV, you can move the effects back to the master out, right? And add some girth onto your track that way. Let's talk about optimization of the VerseLab as well. I think this is something that gets missed when it comes to VerseLab and its versatility. The MV1 is essentially a production unit with a tone generator as well. Once again, it's not a synthesizer, it's a tone generator of editing features for you to customize tones, but not for you to create tones, right? So when people ask for the features of the 101 on here, that just shows they don't really understand what Roland's aim is with this. So the one thing I don't like about it is, once again, not enough MIDI I/O track, but I think that part is lacking. It's oversimplified. So more on that in a minute. I think it's oversimplified because you can't see it. So at least on the MVs, you can see the take lanes on the screen here or on the monitor. You can see the audio tracks in linear fashion as well. But on here, you just have to kind of understand that this is where you are. This is where the signal's coming in at from the external, and it's always there, and you can control it via the system button. You can control what comes in the inputs and how much gain it has and all that good stuff, right? But there's no visual monitoring of it and applying of a separate EQ and all that stuff outside on the outside of the screen. So that being said, and the fact that it's not its flagship feature is not the sampler, right? It's not. It can sample, and it has a simple sampler on there that you can use for kits and also a looper. Okay, cool. And that's what you have to take in consideration. Now, with all that being said, I think the perfect mate for the VerseLab is a workstation. Either a workstation that leads towards being a sequencer and synthesizer, like the Phantoms or the montages and all that stuff, or more something like the older workstations like the Phantom X that I got it paired with now. But I really think it would go well with the Akai MPC Key 61. I think would be the perfect way to optimize the MV, because you add a needed keyboard bed to play melodic stuff on, which is why I got it hooked up with the Phantom now. Sounds and synthesizer capability that your chosen keyboard brings to you. So in my case, it's the Phantom. It has a great arpeggiator on it where you can make a bunch of preset arpeggiated tones. It has a very ample synthesizer with real-time control effects and a D-beam. And it has a decent sequencer and a good sampler on it. You bring all that and you add it to the MV's actual overall capabilities, and that's the way you optimize the MV. Now, that being said, it's priced to where you can add any of that stuff to it. It's just you can only use them daisy-chained or, one instrument at a time. And I think that is the knock on it, and that's what I don't like about it. I don't like the fact that you cannot use more than maybe one real piece of gear with that. You know what I mean? If you're a guitar player, you can jack a guitar into the vocal take lane. I mean, that gives you that instrument. But other than that, you really are kind of restricted with this. And I think it's still cool, but the way to optimize it is to do what I just told you just then and get you a nice little workstation, pair it permanently with the MV, and maximize the strengths of the two. Now, check this out. The way they got it mapped out to go with Zen Beats. This is the hybrid part of the optimization of the MV. Lots of us seemingly tend to shy away from using this with the software, and then when we hook up the Zen Beats, we're wanting it to do something that it's not designed to do. So this is exactly what it's designed to do. It's designed to hook directly up to the Zen Beats app or on the computer screen. And if you have it already formatted in song mode, you set the tempo in the Zen Beats, and then you go running. Check it out. So what you're looking at right now is the screen from Zen Beats, right? So this is a song that I actually put in song mode and then turned around and loaded the stems in song format to Zen Beats. And as you can see, I got the metering. So one thing I want to point out is one of the bigger complaints is, well, it's not fully integrated with Zen Beats, and it is not. You won't be able to control the insides of the MV and monitor it on Zen Beats, and neither will you be able to control the main elements of Zen Beats, the effects and stuff like that, from the MV1 Verse Lab. It's not that integrated. However, pulling up the Verse Lab editor really helps at the arrangement stage to make your creative flow work so much faster and more intuitively. And the Zen Beats format is apparently designated. If you look at the bottom row, where all the red buttons that I got armed, those are all stems coming from the MV1 Verse Lab, as you can see with the metering. So when you close the Verse Lab editor and you open up a program, if you open up a folder, a song, and you line it up with your MV, you do get the metering. You know what I mean? In preparation for you to, of course, dump the stems inside the Zen Beats, which is what I would do anyway. This entire song right here is dumped into Zen Beats. It's been recorded, as you can see up here. Right here, if I make that larger, you would be able to see the all the tracks that I actually have. But yeah, man, I think that is enough for now. It is a big complaint, but I don't see why. So let me put this out for you. Let me get this situated. So now I switch projects, right? And get to the whole screen. And follow the pointer. As you can see down here are tracks for the vocal take lane as well as the external MV, right? This right here, my friend, this last meter is coming from the Roland Phantom, just the external inputs. So as you can see, you have the ability to dump everything into your Zen Beats straight from the MV1 Verse Lab. Mind you, you could also use the Verse Lab editor to mix and arrange the track prior to doing that. So you get a clean recording of everything that you have in the Verse Lab, including what's coming in on the audio inputs down on this end. So that is definitely an MV trademark, to have such a forward-thinking protocol already in place. As I said before, the MV8000 had the same protocol baked in. This right here proves that, to me, the integration is fine. It's not full, but as you can see, I can use my mouse, which, once again, coming from an MV, I love to use one hand on the mouse and the other one on the actual unit for tactile control. It is basically it is the basis and the point of having a hybridized workflow. And the hybridized workflow has so many advantages. I mean, for one, let's take away the fact that this over here, let's say that this over here is actually the MV8000 and what I have baked into the MV8000. Then I'm basically being able to port over everything from the MV into the MV1 and into ZenBeats. And as you can see, once you hit ZenBeats, okay, hold on. Let me see. As you see down there right here, you have the option to save this to OneDrive, Google Drive, OneDrive, and the Microsoft option. So you have a chance to export these stems or export this project via a cloud save source, which is pretty good. I think that is a worthwhile hybridized workflow because it quickens things. It makes you go ahead and upload things. So I can either upload these stems to a person on the other end, or I could just simply download those same stems and bring them back into like my Sonar DAW and load them track for track, stem for stem, and then throw an SSL plugin on them as well, which would be, that's what I would do. But yeah, man, this is the MV part of the Verse Lab, and I think it's pretty cool, man. I'm not one to have to work a certain way, and I think this is the advantage of the MV creative flow, is that it pulls you in a hybrid direction, to go hardware tactile, but still have a connectivity to modern production methods and kits. You know what I mean? Because now that you got the MV8000, the Phantom inside the ZenBeats DAW, I don't even need the MV to work on it. I can work on that thing. It's cross-platform. I can work on it on my phone, on my MacBook Pro, on my laptop, or on my tablet. All three seamlessly